Namaste. Good evening, everybody. Okay, so I'll just continue from where we had left on Thursday. Okay, so we had discussed about these merits of the human or the Jeevan also, that when it's combined with the human form, what it needs to or what it becomes when it is knowledgeable. Humans become social with these merits, evidencing understanding in living itself as is learning. Only humans could become learned among all this existence. While there is continuous search in every unit of nature, the learning is possible only in humans. Okay. So we have described four activities in humans here: knowing, believing, recognizing, and fulfilling. So इसमें जानना, मानना, पहचान करना और निर्वाह करना. I believe those are the translations of those words: knowing, believing, recognizing, and fulfilling. Among these, recognizing and fulfilling are inherent in every entity of nature. Every entity of nature recognizes another. That is why it fulfills. So we had understood that when even at the atomic level, we had discussed last time. Okay, let me just. Yeah. So we had discussed last time that even the atoms, they are recognizing each other, and they are able to combine with their likes. Like matlab, if a water atom, sorry, water molecule is there, it will combine with another water molecule. So that's recognizing. And it said here, every entity in nature is recognizes another. That is why it fulfills. An atomic particle too recognizes another, and as a result, these particles abide in orderliness. Right? So that is how the particles are also able to recognize each other, and they are able to participate in the orderliness. They cohabit and function with one another, thus manifesting coexistence. So here it means that the particles recognize each other. That's one thing, but they are also cohabiting. Matlab, the habitat they are having, the place that they are sharing, it is sharing with another atom also. So we talked about how sodium and chlorine gas, they are cohabiting to form the salt, and the oxygen and hydrogen are cohabiting to form the water molecule. So this is what it means here. They cohabit and function with one another, thus manifesting coexistence. So as we had described earlier, that when two things which have the ability to combine or cohabit, they will come together and form another acharan or another behavior altogether. That means that sodium, and a very volatile metal, and chlorine, a very poisonous gas, they will both shun their innate nature, and they will come together to form table salt. So this is what it means by thus manifesting coexistence. So they are creating a vyavastha and orderliness when they come together. That's what it's inclining here. Similarly, starting from molecules to planets, the entities of nature recognize one another and fulfill accordingly. All units of material order, biological order, animal order also recognize one another and fulfill which is evident in the form of complementariness in nature. So we can see that what the science had already claimed in the past, that everything is by fluke, everything is a coincidence. It just so happens to be that the right amount of temperature was there, so to form the right amount of proteins and the carbohydrates and all these units then formed cells, and then it so happened that the cells then came to being complex organisms. So there is, the science is always in probability, and the probability they are making it so less that it is almost negligible. Now imagine the whole planet is existing, it is in balance, it is in harmony, everything is in coexistence, yet they are still not able to comprehend this, and they are just saying that everything is just sort of a fluke, or just happened to be, it is not supposed to be designed like that, but it just so happens, like the Goldilocks theory, that our planet is just happened to be, though so far from the sun, that it can habitat the organisms, as in every organism, living organisms. It just happens to be so near that it doesn't get cold of the space, and it doesn't freeze over like other planets do. So yeah, I mean, it's just, everything is just according to the science is just very low probability, and that they are still sticking to that theory that everything just so happened to be that we are alive also. But here it's saying all units of material order, biological order, and animal order also recognize one another and fulfill, which is evident in the form of complementariness in nature. So we'd also discussed how when the wolf was actually hunted down, that increased the amount of antelopes. I think it was gazelles or antelopes in one region. I think the Yellowstone Park or some place like that. And it was discussed that how when killing one sort of a predator, the highest predator rather, in the chain or food chain, that creates a very big imbalance, and then the gazelles or the antelopes just cleared the area for of its food, and because of that, because its population increased, because there was no one keeping a balance, the wolves were keeping a balance of their numbers. So when that stopped, their numbers increased, and when their numbers increased, the food was completely cleared. They had no food, and then all the antelopes and gazelles also died. So it also created a very imbalance in that way. Yeah. So cows and all food production for the predators, right? Okay. Does anybody have any sort of question or comment? We can move on.
Namaste, Bhaiya. Namaste to everyone.
Yes, namaste.
No particular comment. Just
Uh,
only we can see that there is a complementariness in all three forms of the nature. I hope we will be discussing in the about the humans in the next paragraph.
hmm.
So yes,
Uh,
they also are complementary, but
mm,
whether they have understood or seen this complementariness or not, that is to
mm,
be seen.
mm. बढ़िया. So humans, however, could not be satisfied with mere recognizing and fulfilling, and doubts arose within them. सो पहचान जानना और पहचानना और निर्वाह करना, recognizing and fulfilling. Just as we discussed, atoms could recognize and could fulfill their complementariness by combining with other atoms, that they could share their atomic circles with. But here it was not enough for the humans, right? So it said here that humans could not be satisfied with just recognizing and fulfilling, and doubts arose within them. Humans have two additional activities, which is knowing and believing. So janna or manna, which is knowing and believing, these are the two additional activities that humans have. So a human wants to know and a human wants to believe. That's what this line is saying. Humans who have two additional activities, knowing and believing, humans become satisfied with recognizing and fulfilling only on the basis of knowing and believing. So this means that human will not accept or agree with something merely by recognizing and fulfilling it. It will do that through knowing and believing, through the knowledge and through the believing of that knowledge which is there in the form of coexistence. So knowing and believing are the only. Okay, this is there's some sentence mixture here. Knowing and believing are only of meaning and purpose. Right. So this sentence, knowing and believing are only of meaning and purpose. Humans can become social only in the course of knowing and believing. In absence of knowing and believing, one cannot become social, nor can they evidence coexistence. Right. So basically, what it means is that we could not see orderliness in coexistence. We are still seeing it as I said here, a fluke. I mean, of course, science is starting to believe some things, that there is this entanglement theory and this quantum entanglement and all this kind of things, but there is still not a perfect answer to why everything is coexisting. So this sentence is saying humans can become social only in the course of knowing and believing. In the absence of knowing and believing, one cannot become social, nor can they evidence coexistence. So, the absence of knowing and believing is the cause of all the misery, one can say, and disconnection with coexistence. I think, yeah. And that means that with jnana or with wisdom, we can start seeing the coexistence. So the activities of Jivan become basically seen in five parts. Each part has two activities in the form of state and motion, respectively. For example, every Jivan has hope, asha, wherein there are two activities, taste, aswadan, and selection, chayan. What we choose according to our taste is selection activity. We taste, which is also an activity. The part of Jivan where both these activities happen is called man. So I'll just go through this a little bit slower. The activities of Jivan could basically be seen in five parts. Each part has two activities in the form of state and motion respectively. So we are talking about combined of 10 activities. Five of them are states and five of them are motions. For example, Jivan has asha, hope, wherein there are two activities called taste and selection, aswadan and chain. What we choose according to our taste is selection activity. We taste, which is also an activity. The part of Jivan where both these activities happen is called man. So this man is part of the Jivan only, and this is also, we can say that the aswad and then the chain, which is the taste and the selection happens in the man, which is part of Jivan. Both are parts of the Jivan. So this is described here. For selection activity, humans have imagined what all is needed for taste. They have accumulated a great deal for this and are busy in accumulating even more. So far, we have worked for comfort and accumulation. The reason being, the more we lagged in understanding, knowing, believing the purpose of comfort and accumulation, the more helpless we became of all these. We could not find the point of satisfaction of comfort and accumulation anywhere. So it is saying that because we could not know or believe, we could not achieve this uh, in the man basically, right? And in the man, where is what are these two things saying? It is taste, aswadan, and chain. So these the existence is coexistence part was not understood because of knowing and believing was not there, right? This knowing and believing was not there, and so in our man, which is part of Jeevan, the taste and aswadan was already there, but we could not fulfill it with coexistence. So we started filling it with comforts and accumulation, right? So we are seeing here, however, when we understand the particular purpose of our material accumulation, we learn that food, shelter, and clothing are for nourishment and protection of body, while telecommunication and transportation are for social participation. All these things have become available, but humans haven't become satisfied based on comfort and accumulation. This is a huge irony. मतलब सब कुछ चीज़ें होते हुए भी there is no तृप्ति बिंदु, or there is no comfort which we are feeling in our जीवन, or rather we are not feeling that um, how shall I say it, the satisfaction in the jivan that we have something, or we are not feeling happiness in the jivan, even though we have comfort and accumulation, because it is still not able to be known with coexistence knowledge. So that is where it's lacking. When we understand with the coexistence, we will not accumulate, rather we will understand that the food and the shelter and the clothing is supposed to be just for the body. And instead of looking at our body as a place where we can paint our thoughts with clothes and with varieties of perfumes and varieties of food in eating foods, uh, we can know that even in when we are going to weddings, maybe we are always judged, or the person hosting the wedding will be always judged that what kind of food they had served. So even though the most healthiest food would be simple foods, uh, every wedding would be having some so many varieties of food, which ultimately actually give sort of indigestion, or a sort of you know, every time we hear that we went to the wedding and that's where our stomach was spoiled, or we got a bad tummy ache because of what we had eaten. So this is merely showing that the simple things in life are the ones which are uh, I mean, not just simple, but when we say simple, I mean with understanding. Like if you understand what food is good for you, it is most probably that that food will be simple to make. When you understand what kind of clothing we are wearing and what kind of shelter we are having for our body, we will know that it is very simple to make. Livelihoods, or that kind of existing with nature, sort of we will be like um, in harmony with nature when we build things also, and not creating sort of high rise buildings and all those kind of things which are actually against natural design, right? So many things would be changing actually when we realize the true understanding of what we are supposed to um, I mean enjoy, or what we are supposed to, जैसे को कहते हैं ना कि भोगना कैसे है, we will also understand how to consume, because if we don't see the difference right now what it is doing, the cities of today are actually designed to create the maximum sort of I mean, it is like not taking care of the cyclicity of nature. I mean, imagine the amount of water which is needed in apartments, and how that water actually gets there. It's completely against nature, you know, and so many systems have to be made which are against nature. Air conditioners are put in, and to maintain the temperature, then the temperature keeps on increasing because there's no greenery around, and then we are seeing all these kind of problems happening simply because some people have decided that taxation and taxing people is a good thing. For that, they need infrastructure, and for that, they need a sort of place for people to come and do their job. And for that, then they will need the food and the water and the drainage and all those things. So everything is designed basically on a simple understanding of more and more, achieving more out of less. So that is how the cities are actually designed. And in fact, the humans are also subjected to that kind of activities, where they have to be kept in demeaning or conditions of unfavorable nature. And we are also seeing that then that also creates a sort of disharmony. And we can see that evidenced in the traffics or the way people talk with each other in the cities, as compared to more subtle and tranquil environment on the outskirts. Yeah, so we can see this all this linked together. I mean, it's also the way it's said here, isn't it a huge irony? It is also an irony that even after having all these things, even after having the city, the people living in the city are not healthy, are not they are not likable by others. Or maybe even if they're likable, they'll be likable because of their money, wealth, or status, or all those kind of things, not by their nature as such. Because they will always be on this rat's race of staying in the city. By that I mean, to stay in a particular sort of environment, you also have to maintain this kind of status, which is also another dabaw or another conditioning also, I would say. So yes, it's very big irony also that still they would not be happy as compared to person who is resolved and living in harmony in the outskirts, in a small village or in a small house, but he's in harmony with coexistence and he's happy, you know. So happiness has no correlation with anything which is linked with manpad or money valuations or positions or anything like that, right? Okay, so I'll just read one more paragraph. Two other activities of Jeevan are deliberation, tulan, and analysis, vishleshan. Jeevan performs analysis activity based on its capacity. All analysis are ultimately for recognizing purpose. The fundamental purpose of humans is to evidence resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence in living. The opposite path is pursuit of consumption and overconsumption, where humans won't find any stability. So, yes, just as I said, the stability also gets distorted when we are in this rat's race of consumption and overconsumption, you know. And it's a pity that even the young minds of today are almost pushed to the verge of this kind of disorder because of market forces, or because of what their parents have said, or what the neighborhood is saying, or the neighbors say, or all this kind of thing. मानसिक प्रभाव भी होता है, सामाजिक प्रभाव भी होता है. So all this kind of this orderliness are pushed upon the new humans also. And one needs what is said here, the fundamental purpose of humans is to evidence resolution, prosperity, and fearlessness, and coexistence in living. Now this line is the exact line which we are not able to give to the young minds, or rather we ourselves are looking for this. Now that we have found the darshan, we can see that there are some sort of evidences of happiness when we are resolved, when we are prosperous, and we don't have fear, and we are also living in coexistence. So yes, so this is very clear that this is the requirement for all humans. You know, the fundamental purpose of humans is to evidence resolution, prosperity, fearlessness, and coexistence. Right. At the present, science concludes that all humans will be dead after some time, and Earth will get destroyed. So again, the principles of pollution and all those things which are happening right now, uh, the day zero, or when the Earth will not be able to sustain its cyclicity, that time is getting closer and closer. That's what. I think the doomsday clock is what they are calling it. That clock has a particular number of hours left for the Earth. I mean, it's in the thousands, of course, but then the point is that that clock is ticking, and that to that point, after that point, then the cycles of nature will not be able to uh, recuperate the fading resources, and so we could say that the Earth will be in a spiral towards detriment, even though there are systems in place for the Earth to maintain balance. The problem is we are digging away, literally digging away into the resources, or we are calling it resources, but those are vyavasthas. We are digging away into the vyavasthas and creating havoc. So that's why the problem is of the doomsday clock. So at present, science concludes it's a truth here, and even science is saying it, and even Jeevan Vidya is saying it, that all humans will be dead after some time, and Earth will get destroyed. I mean, if we continue doing what we are doing, this that is bound to happen if we go on like this. Think from the way Earth has evolved. Humans emerged only after the planet had fully become enriched and habitable for them. So we can see, and I was just watching a documentary just in the afternoon, where they had this ice fall on the polar regions, and they carbon dated that back to something like 800,000 years ago. Now, snowfall at 800,000 years ago, thus there are some layers of the snow, and it catches the air. There some air bubbles are trapped in that snowfall, right? So they calculated the amount of carbon dioxide at that time. I mean, we are talking about 800,000 years ago, and it's saying that it was almost what it is right now. It was four times less. So that means that 800,000 years ago, there is a stable climate on this earth where that carbon dioxide level, which is a correlated with the temperature of the earth. So as the carbon dioxide increases, since it's a greenhouse gas, the temperature also increases. So 800,000 years ago, it was four times lesser than what it is right now. And that means that for even humans to come to existence, there had to be a four times lesser level of carbon dioxide than it is right now for the humans to get evolved. So now you can imagine if that was the environment that was needed for the humans to come out of the animal kingdom and to get an evolved brain like ours, if we put the environmental factors in reverse gear, like almost three times, then the equation will be like it will take a very less time for the humans to get destroyed. So that is the point that this sentence is making. That humans emerged only after the planet had become fully enriched and habitable for them. Gradually, the opportunity of awakening became available to humans living in animal consciousness. Instead of becoming awakened, they move towards consumption and overconsumption. By making consumption and overconsumption their way of life, they entered into an endless pursuit of comfort and accumulation. The earth does not have enough resources to satisfy everyone's lust for comfort and accumulation. Therefore, sooner or later, this lust will lead to human ruin. I think this is very self explanatory. If we keep on continuing with the degradation, and by degradation it means the earth is trying to heal itself. We saw that during the corona time, but we are accelerating faster than the earth's ability to recoup and rejuvenate itself with its cycles. So it will be the ruin. This lust of ours for the comforts and accumulation will be the ruin of humanity, right? So that's self-explanatory. All objects of comfort and accumulation need to be aligned with human purpose, that is, towards the nourishment protection of the body and social participation. So, let's discuss on this what exactly this means. The accumulation and need of comfort should be aligned with human purpose. And what is that human purpose? Towards nourishment protection of the body and social participation. So nourishment protection, I would say, is about how or what kind of food we are having so that our body stays nourished, so that Jeevan can be able to, uh, as it is, it's always combined, but it can stay combined with the physical body and lead a peaceful and a livelihood which is full of learning and full of happiness. So that is the point of food basically, to keep the body nourished, right? So nourishment, protection, and social participation. Now, social participation obviously is towards Jeevan. As we recalled early, the Jeevan wants to know, and this knowing is able to be done through the participation of other humans with our in our lives. So we cannot exhibit or we cannot evidence coexistence when we are alone. We need to participate with other humans. So a human being, himself or herself, cannot say that they are in coexistence by their own. They may be in coexistence with nature. That is a fact, because they are breathing first of all. So the air is there as a matter with which they are actually consuming every breath. They need to survive, so they will be drinking water and all this kind of foods that they're eating. So again, coexistence with matter, coexistence with plants, and coexisting with animals. But if you leave out the human factor in it, and for example, like the way it was done in the past, moving out of the house, or even right now, some people are living in the woods alone and they are feeling that they are actually being uh, leading a very peaceful and tranquil life. I would argue that there actually is a mental blockage towards this kind of people, because every social participation is an innate nature of humans, and that is very necessary for humans actually when they are alive. Yes, I think we can move ahead. If anybody has anything to ask, they can unmute and ask me. Moving towards social participation leads to participation in an indivisible society and universal orderliness. So, social participation within your surrounding or within your participating coexistence with your kind of people, of course that will be in the proximity, like you will be near you only, leads to participation in an indivisible society. So the indivisible society here is the human society, which is indivisible. Everything is connected with every other human, and universal orderliness. So again, this is with the three orders. So, human society is indivisible. Every human is connected with another human being in some way, form, or the other. We saw this again when, especially the corona is spreading. It was only spreading through humans. I mean, there was no other animal that was responsible for this, right? So that is one way of seeing it. That how it started out in one place, but it since every society is indivisible, we saw it spread all over the world, right? So that is there, and universal orderliness. So moving towards social participation leads to universal orderliness. So when we participate with other humans also, we will create a sort of universal orderliness. Everything, be it the plant order or the matter and all the even the animal order, will be in orderliness. We will not be consuming plants unnecessarily, destroying their habitat. We will not be destroying the habitats of animal order also. We will know that the animals have some purpose. So we will also keep aside their livelihood, their place of existing, and everything will be in coexistence. Everything will be in orderliness. So that's very important to understand. Sometimes when we come to the city, we don't see any animals around us, and so maybe most we can see is maybe dogs or cows or something like this on the roads. But there are so many other animals that are there on this planet, especially in places of jungles and all those kind of things where there is naturally some orderliness and there are no humans there. So many types of animals we can see, but right now I think only a few, we have only seen a few in the cities which we are living in. So this is also a sort of sad way of existing, because they are existing creating orderliness. This is very one important thing. I mean, we all know the importance of birds as the spreading of seeds, and we also know how birds are transferring the nutrients from one place to another. uh, Similarly, plants are also doing the same. Their seed dispersal and the when they are um, growing is also creating a sort of orderliness wherever they are growing the plants. And I think when we are in orderliness, we will think twice when we want to cut a tree, because it's simply not understandable to us but how important it is not to do something that is taken years and years to accomplish where it has reached. So since we are the highest order, we are given um, the privilege, I would say, to use in our liking. And in that process, what we have done is we have misused according to our ignorance. That is the real problem. Because we don't know, because we are ignorant, we have misused the things. What I'm talking about is especially the animal kingdom and the plant life. We have misused it. We say that the plant is, shedding the leaves, and so we cut the tree down and we want to create a clear space. I'm talking about my neighborhood. That's wherever I'm living. It's not such a so. Uh, Backward type of society. I mean, people are educated and all that, but just because the leaves fall down and that creates, the woman of the house, or it creates a sort of disorder in the sense the leaves fall down, they have to sweep the leaves. So that sort of disorder was told by the to the man, and then the man told the gardener to come and cut the tree just because of the falling leaves. So, very important to understand orderliness. Very important to understand what a tree does exactly around you. Creates a sort of microclimate around you. You know. Yes, Ganesh Bhaiya.
You are absolutely right when you are saying about the how it pays to cut a tree.
Mm.
So we can see that the coal deposits under the earth are because of the at some time there were huge trees. These trees were the absorbers of the carbon dioxide and the carbon monoxide. Today, uh, the uh, you can see we have seen the uh, coal deposits of the height of 150 to 180 meters, which is indicating that there were huge trees at some stage of the history, which went underneath and they later on converted to coal. So we can see the significance of the trees, how they can absorb the carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide and can maintain the temperature. So we are missing this thing in the cities these days. There is a
Yeah.
lot of pollution and there are less number of trees.
Yeah.
The situation is a bit better in villages,
Mm.
especially where I and Sudarshan Bhaiya lives,
Mm.
or we have the property there in a
Mm.
village near the Dehradun. We can find huge trees there,
Mm.
almost 50 to 60 feet high, which
Right.
I don't see in Delhi.
Yeah.
So there, that is basically a jungle near our
Mm.
village. We can
Mm.
see the trees and how healthy the environment is.
Mm.
So we can have a distinction when we live in a city like Delhi and when we live in a village. So I can understand what you were saying about the significance of the trees, which are very helpful in maintaining the temperature.
Right. Right. And in fact, we have to really change some things in the textbooks where there is lines in accordance that third world countries, developing countries, and undeveloped countries. So when we talk about health or when we talk about orderliness, I would argue that the places which are completely not developed are in accordance with orderliness, even though they GDP or their I mean people are actually not feeling the importance of their goodness that they have around them, and then they feel that countries are poor, but actually it is argued that the Western people are going to this poor land and then creating the havoc and then taking away the minerals. So who is poor exactly? Because the American or the Western or the developed cities are having the poor water, the poor soil quality, the poor water quality, the poor air quality, right? They are going to these places where they are calling them that they are underdeveloped or they are developing countries. They are going there, they're mining the things, they're bringing out the deposits, then they're processing it in their countries or maybe processing in China or whatever, and then selling the products that they make again back to that developing country and then keeping them poor. So this is a very malicious cycle, I would say, not understanding humans at all, not respecting orderliness in the sense that they are considering themselves as rich or they're considering themselves as superior. And then on top of that, completely like literally, coming and patenting everything, now once they see that some countries are coming up, African countries are coming up, they are putting this patents on seeds that they cannot grow particular type of seeds. They have to buy the seeds, genetically modified seeds. So
More,
complete,
more, but yeah, more to the discussion. The movie sent by you, that
huh,
is the Star Trek in section,
right.
and there we can see the people living in a natural environment,
Mm,
not using the technology, which
mm,
is the cause of most of the pollution these days. We can see the
mm,
advancement is creating the atmosphere in a very poor state. So in
mm,
that movie also, it has been shown that how healthy the people are
right.
when they are living in the, and their age is of 200, 300 years old, which
Mhm.
we have also seen in the another movie which you have shown
Yeah,
6 months back, I think. So both
yeah.
the movies signify, I think, I don't know whether others have seen that movie or not, but
Mm,
they signify the importance of the natural environment,
mm,
where
mm,
automatically the conditions are created which are more hygienic,
mm,
other rather than the situations where the technology and the development in the negative direction is going on
right.
towards comfort and other situations.
Mm. I mean, comfort also is a temporary word for it. I mean, true comfort would be when you have taken care of your health, your vitality of food, as it said, your nourishment, protection, air quality. I mean, the very thing that we need every second is of a worst quality. So, what do we expect for the body to do? It is trying its best to remove the toxins. I mean, imagine there's this smoke. If you combine it with water, it turns to acid, right? So this basically turns to acid rain. Now imagine that is also combining with your blood now. So what kind of impact, or rather, what kind of havoc it is creating every breath we are taking, and we are renewing that air. It is not that we've taken one breath and we have dissolved that air, then now we are okay. But we have to keep on taking these new breaths, which are full of these nitrous oxides and sulfurous oxides, and then they turn into sulfuric acid and nitric acid in the body. And how much the kidneys must be functioning to remove these acids, how much the lungs and the small minute bronchioles are working even in such worse conditions, how much rupturing must be happening, how much inflammation is happening in the body because of these heightened levels of toxins. And obviously the life expectancy does get affected. I mean, it's evidence, not very suddenly. That's why we are not so so active about it. But I mean, we are literally dying because of the air that we are breathing. I'm talking about the cities, especially. And I was part of this. I mean, we lived for 1 year in Bangalore, and we knew that there is something wrong which is happening now. I mean, the climate suddenly started changing, and we realized at the right time, at the peak, we just said, okay, let's go back to native place, which is Kutch, and we are actually having a better sort of understanding that we are at least in orderliness, a little bit better orderliness. But the true orderliness is when the whole human society becomes one in understanding, and that is what we are working now on. And basically, we are trying to create this sort of, at least in the form of understanding, we are creating a small group. That group is working towards the same initiative, and yeah, so that's the best we can do, I think. I mean, what else can we say? That the movie, see, the movie is an outcome of the silent voices that we have. I mean, that movie was made, I think it was 19 somewhere in the 2000, is it, or 1990 or something?
1996,
Yeah,
96.
96,
Hmm.
yes. So imagine they had already talked about the worsening conditions, and that group were shunned out of that village because they were always towards technology and they wanted to do the technology thing. So they were thrown out of the village, and then they returned back with technology to kill the people who had thrown them out. So that whole movie was about what is happening exactly right now, that there is a group which wants harmony on this earth, and then there is another group which wants to leave this planet, pursue technology, exploit the resources to the maximum, and get every good thing out of this earth, and then go somewhere else and live on that other planet or create something there, assuming that that will even function that way also. It's very less probable because so many things have to be in play. I mean, simple things like the atmosphere of the Earth, which is protecting us from so many asteroids and comets and all these kind of things which would be hurling towards us, they dissolved somewhat in the atmosphere. So simple things like this atmosphere is not there in other planets. How are we going to protect ourselves, even if a small particle of some half a ton or maybe even small asteroids of 100 kg are coming, there is no asteroid that it can burn up the asteroid in the atmosphere. How will you survive in another planet even? So some things are just uncalculated, I think, then, and we are just trying to pursue those things. But anyways, I think everything has its time, and if we, the right people, get to the conclusion of orderliness soon enough, I think we will be giving guidance to these people, the ones who are for technology and ones who are for everything being done automatically, and we are just there to push a button and then everything happens. So again, comforts, and comes to point to that only, that we are all still stuck on comforts and consumption. So that's where it wants to, we have to change the mind. Yes.
That's why this line is very important, that accumulation need to be aligned with the human purpose.
Mm, yeah,
Hmm.
but yeah. It is a very deep sentence that we have to contemplate on. Right now, we don't even know the purpose. That is the main issue of this. The whole any darshan for that matter. We are always wanting to do something in action without knowing the purpose of it. So this darshan is the first which says identify the purpose. What is the purpose of human? Okay, the human has to be happy. How to be happy? Just by himself or herself? No, it is in happiness in coexistence. When you are existing and coexisting with another in with justice, with trustfulness, and with love, affection, honor, all this kind of nine mulyas, and then you are now exhibiting this and evidencing it with your people around you, and that keeps on multiplying with other units and in other families, and that's what's called indivisible society. So to this point, it was not explained clearly what was this meaning, purpose driven consumption. Now it is being told to us. So now we should really, and in fact, we will see this happening. We are seeing it slowly start to happen. Inflation and recessions are playing its play. We are from back and forth. Human is being thrown into inflation. He starts consuming, and then that creates a oversaturation or market saturation of products. Then we start seeing recession happening. then the person also gets entangled in that. He is suffering in that also. So somewhere he will come to notice, or at least he will be inquisitive of the right thing. He will be, uh, I mean, everybody is pre-programmed for happiness, right? So that is the hope. I think that the hope of happiness in every human will bring about the change, or will bring about the curiosity in those humans, and that is the only thing that we can hope for. That it will be the way that we are also ready to share this sort of knowledge with them when they are ready for the uh, knowledge to enter into their livelihood. But yeah, so we have some 10 minutes left. I'll just maybe finish this paragraph. Anybody else wants to add to this? Okay, I had shared the movie on Telegram also. Shivangi and Shriyanshi, I had shared to you also. And I think Nilam Babi, maybe I forgot to share it to you because we had an issue with the Google Drive. That movie was so I think put in the category of suspicion, but it was a movie, normal movie. But since these kind of things have a copyright thing going on, so it was banned basically. In that it was labeled suspicious, and it was not able to share it. But I think if you are on Telegram, just send me a hi on Telegram, and then I can send it to you. My number is the same as the one you see on WhatsApp. So if you add me in your mobile, and then if you can just send me a hi from Telegram, just write that, okay, I need to watch the movie, the Star Trek movie, so I can send it to you. It's a very interesting movie, and how play of thoughts happens when a civilization is actually affected by same civilization people going out, coming with new technology, and then creating havoc in a harmonized, peaceful society. And very very I mean I was very very moved by the images on the screen, because they focused on business, they focused on, I mean, not business, but they focused on exchange, they focused on children development, education, they focused on farming, they focused on uh, harmony, living in celebration, and such simple environment, no high rise buildings or anything like that. Literally, it was a very nice way or depiction of evolved, knowledgeable society, and how they had to almost, they were almost thrown off the planet because of some technological people wanting to steal away some natural phenomena which was keeping that town young and prosperous. So yes, just
I
uh,
found here one of the very important point in that particular movie
hmm,
was that since the people are living in a natural environment, there was something special in the atmosphere and in the earth at that place. So that is why the this Star Trek and the Sona, the other group which was thrown away, they were very keen to acquire that land. Na? That is why they wanted to displace those people who were living there.
right.
So the same thing we can see in today's atmosphere.
Hmm,
We can see that some of the developed countries want to acquire the some of the resources of the countries which are comparatively weak. Like we
right.
can see the situation of Ukraine and USA. So
Hmm,
what USA is putting the conditions to have the this particular rights to use the resources of Ukraine in uh, in uh, in service to the or in providing the arms and ammunition to the Ukraine. So
right.
it's a kind of similar situation. The mindset is almost same, but
Hmm,
sometimes you have the good people who have the right kind of mindset, like
hmm,
in this movie, the
hmm,
captain, I don't know
hmm.
what was his name, he has
Picard.
the right intention. Yes,
Hmm,
Picard. He has
hmm,
the right intention, and finally he didn't allow others to acquire that particular place. A
hmm,
fantastic movie. I think
hmm,
those who have not seen, they should see that movie.
hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm always pessimistic on sharing something which is designed or depicted by I mean, I'm not exactly labeling it a wrong person, but not by designed by someone who is not evolved. But uh, to its extent, the if we are looking at darshan, and when we look at through the eyes of darshan, we will see a lot of similarities when we call of orderliness and when we call of vyavastha. So we are seeing a lot of vyavastha happening in that kind of situation. So that was depicted in that movie, and that's why I like to share it with you guys, and I hope that you would also see the same. And apart from that, I think there a lot of work is being done. Whereas to say that the imagination always is the one which is trying to find orderliness. I mean, it's not able to understand it or stay with it, but the orderliness is always at the I mean, always at the word of, I mean, verge of existing, because we see that there is orderliness in nature somewhere down the other when we are alone, when we are seeing that there is so much harmony around us. Yet, why are we so in this harmony? Um, there is another side of movie that I'm reminded of. I think I'll just stop sharing from here. So there is this movie by Tarzan, and these people from the city come to this jungle, and this jungle they are saying that we are. They're asking Tarzan, "What do you have here?" So they are so almost boasting that we have the trains. So then Tarzan asks, "What is the need for the train?" So the person answers, "We get to places faster." So then he asks, "Why you want to go fast there?" So he just keeps on saying why, and then so we get to more business or more quickly we can do the things. And then he says why. He keeps on saying why. And then the same instant there is a particular moment that those people start realizing, okay, they are the ones at fault. You are supposed to stay in the here now. You are supposed to stay with existence, what's is surrounding you. He just goes out, or is hanging on his rope, bringing some fruits and vegetables for them, and then they're eating, they're having family time and all that. So that was another scene of the Tarzan that I'm reminded of. Why are we doing so much of effort? Why are we driving up and down? Why are we doing the job that we are? In fact, if we are doing it in alignment with coexistence, then that's fine. But if we are not doing that, then we are just pursuing a sort of herds mentality that हाँ ये भी कर रहे हैं तो मैं भी करना पड़ेगा. If they are doing it, we have to also do it. So like a societal pressure, peer pressure rather, and very
You absolutely right while you are
mm,
saying the herd mentality. I
uh,
remember this song of Rahagir who says, कहीं तारों में जानवर उलझे हैं, कहीं नारों में जानवर उलझे हैं. You listen to that song and you will definitely enjoy. So how we people are busy in unnecessary tasks. Most of
right,
the people, they are
right.
busy, they don't know what they are doing, but they are doing.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean,
कहीं yes,
kids
yes.
are lost. Kids are getting lost. They have to create a sort of good impression on the boss so that they can get a siphoned, and then where they get a good permanent job and position. And for that, they have to do so much of G sir, G sahib, G sir, and it is completely against their will. And once they get with this mentality, then it keeps on multiplying. They have to say to their wife the same thing. They have to say the same to their children. Nothing positive is coming out of this, I think. I mean, it is so lucky that we are actually seeing this from outside the box, that we are. I mean, many people are in this outside this box. And even the Matrix was the another movie that I'm reminded by. That Matrix was when these people are sort of trapped in a sort of a deep sleep, and they are being used by the machines for their energy. And that is the source of energy that the artificial intelligence will create, because the Jeevan is able to, as it said, Akshay Bal and Akshay Shakti hai. So somehow that movie also speaks to that kind of environment where maybe artificial intelligence will future in the future be creating environments for us to be in the dream state, and they're using our Akshay Bal and Akshay Shakti for powering their own selves. System will be powered by the artificial will be intelligence will be powered by the blood that is running through our veins like a motor. And that's what that movie was also showing. So very very vivid types of thoughts that they are being depicted in movies, and we are seeing that they are also imagining a reality also in somewhat what is happening today. And yes, we have to be enlightened and we have to be knowledgeable in time. Otherwise, we are just a part of the herd, you know. So, but yeah.
You mentioned the movie Matrix.
There's a matrix. There's a matrix resolution. There are two, three matrices. I think the first matrix is there. Then there's another one. There's a third one also. So there are three matrix. Matrix matrix. Very popular actually. Again, and there are three parts in that. So बहुत बढ़िया. थोड़ा सा action based है, but the theme of that is underlining theme is very nice. बहुत बढ़िया. So
Yeah, I think anybody who is just starting to read Vidya, na, if they attend this class, they'll find it much more interesting because we are discussing movies and everything. So
uh,
it will be more relatable like that.
I think it is necessary to make it such because we cannot completely disconnect everything from the world and say कि नहीं हम लोग कुछ अलग ही कर रहे हैं कुछ नया कर रहे हैं और वो जो दुनिया कर रही है वो जो भी है बैकवर्ड है नेगेटिव है जो भी है we cannot do that. I mean we have to make it relatable and we are say there is some relation definitely. I mean the Matrix movie is about that look what we are doing, we are destroying the planet, and the reason is that we are choosing the red pill, you know, instead of the blue pill. So बहुत बढ़िया. So yeah, I mean we'll discuss that also maybe what we are seeing the good in the Matrix. I was actually planning to do it on Sunday to discuss the movie, but I thought that everybody will be in the holiday environment, and also we were outside of the state, so no, not the state, but outside city. But that's why I said, "Okay, let me not bring it up this Sunday." But let's see. I will decide and we'll maybe dedicate it completely to that movie and what we found to be resonating that with the darshan also. And I think it's a nice talk we can have on that also. Yes. So it is time.
Mhm.
We will end here today. And
In the meantime,
yes.
others can watch that movie if they have not seen that movie.
Yeah,
They can
definitely.
say.
Give me a hi and I will share to you in Telegram because in Telegram there is no issue as such. You can just download it and then save it on a pen drive, and then you can watch it on a big screen or you can just watch it on a mobile in the Telegram. So either way, you know, just send me a hi on my this same number which is the WhatsApp number from Telegram, and then we can share it from there also. बढ़िया. चलो, we meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you very, very much, everybody,
Good
and
night.